Hello ladies, this is Miss Kirby again, Chapter 5, Infection Control, Principles and Practices. This is one of your bigger chapters that you will see and deal with throughout your school duration. And it's the biggest portion of your test, it's 24%. Current regulations in health and safety. Many different states and federal agencies regulate the practice of cosmetology. Meet the current regulations for health and safety. Federal agencies set guidelines for manufacturers, the sales, and the use of the equipment and chemical ingredients and requirements for all safety in the workplace. State agencies regulate licensings, enforcement, and your conduct in the salon. So remember, your state agencies regulate the license and enforcement and your conduct in the salon, and the federal agency guidelines deal with the big boys, your manufacturers, your chemical ingredients, and the requirements of the safety in the workplace. Again, state agencies regulate licensings and enforcement and the conduct in the salon. Federal agencies regulate the big boys, the manufacturers and the sales, your equipment, ingredients, things that we as regular people will not get our hands on. Occupational Safety Health Administration, which is called OSHA. OSHA is a federal agency. Remember, they regulate the big boys, the manufacturers. Remember, OSHA is federal agency, and federal agency regulate the big boys, your manufacturers. Regulates and enforce standards for workplace and safety and health. Again, it regulates and enforces standards for the workplace, safety, and health. Again, federal agencies regulate the big boys. That is your manufacturers, your machines, and the sales. Things that we as cosmetology have no control over. But the state regulates us and the things we do. This is not in your book. Safety Data Sheet SDS, or Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970. The MSDS sheets were created in response. So the MSDS sheets were created in this response. The Safety Data Sheets, which are the SDS, replaces the Material Safety Data Sheets. Again, the Material Safety Data Sheets are now known as Safety Data Sheets, SDS. We just dropped off the M. I'm sorry. We just dropped off the M. SDS should be kept in the salon for products that are in use in the salon. So any product that you use in the salon, you should have an SDS sheet at the salon. Again, a SDS sheet replaced the Material Safety Data Sheet, which is called the MSDS sheet. This is not in your book. Again, this is not in your book. In 2012, along with representatives from most nations who participate in the United Nations, OSHA agreed to comply with the globally harmonized system of classifications and labeling of chemical systems, which is known as GHS. Again, globally harmonized systems of classification and Labeling of Chemicals system is known as GHS. This was designed to create labels that could be used around the globe and includes the use of specific pictorial graphs to indicate possible safety concerns, as well as adopt a category of 16 standard formatted SDS, which are your safety data sheets, to replace the MSD sheets. This is not in your book. All 16 categories of the SDS includes product identification, hazard identification, composition information on ingredients, first aid measures, firefighting measures, accidental release measures, handling and storage, exposed controls, personal protection. Again, the first 8 will be product identification, hazard identification, composition information on ingredients, first aid measures, firefighting measures, accidental release measures, handling and storage, exposure control, personal protection. Number 9 out of the 16 is physical and chemical properties, stability and reactivity, toxicology information, ecology information, disposal, concentration, transport information, regulatory information, revised date. Again, 9 through 16, physical and chemical properties, stability and reactivity, toxicology information, ecology information, disposable consideration, transport information, regulatory information, revised information. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA. This is something you're going to see in the salon and all through school and everywhere about EPA. EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. Well, this is an agency that says that your disinfectant is strong enough to be used in a hospital setting that will clean blood and body fluids. Again, the EPA is an agency that says that your disinfectant is hospital standard and that it can clean blood and body fluids. The disinfectants are chemical products that destroy most bacteria, excluding spores, meaning that it do not kill spores, but it kills fungi and viruses on the surfaces. Again, disinfectants are chemical products that destroy most bacteria, fungi, and viruses on the surfaces. So EPA is your Environmental Protection Agency. In your EPA, this particular agency recognizes 2 types of disinfectants that the salons can use. One will be the hospital disinfectant, and the other will be the tuberculosidal disinfectant. Tuberculosis is something they want you to think about. So again, EPA stands for Environmental Protection Agency that regulates state regulatory agencies. Remember, this is who regulates the salons, the small people, the businesses, and things of that nature. So, this protects salons, professionals, and their clients health and safety while receiving services. So laws are called statutes. Again, laws are called statutes. Rules are called regulations. Again, rules are called regulations, which these fall up under state regulatory agencies that protect the salons and their clients' health and safety. Laws and rules. So what are the difference? Laws determine the scope of the practice and establishes guidelines for regulatory agencies such as EPA. Rules are called regulations, which are more specific than laws. They determine how the law will be applied. So laws is what help establish the guidelines, and your rules are more specific. So this means it will determine how the law will be applied. So regulatory agencies can determine how the laws are being applied. Understand the principles of infection. Salon professionals' responsibility. Risk, injury, or infection. Know and use proper procedure. Prevention. All of these things are going to be covered under the principles of infection, because we as professionals must know our responsibility, know that we can put our clients at risk of an infection or an injury, and we must know our proper procedures, and if we know them, we know how to have prevention so that it won't happen. Infection control. Infection control is the methods used to eliminate or reduce the transmission of infectious organisms. There are 4 types of potential harmful organisms: bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites. Infection control is the methods of use to eliminate or reduce transmission of infectious organisms. Infectious disease. An infectious disease is caused by pathogenic, harmful organisms that enter the body. So pathogenic, harmful organisms that enter the body. Salon tools, clean. Now when we're going to talk about clean, it is a mechanical process which involves scrubbing, using soap and water and detergent, and the water removes all visible dirt and debris. It removes all visible dirt and debris. So remember, when someone says they're cleaning, it is a mechanical process to remove all visible dirt and debris. Disinfection is a chemical process that will destroy most, but not necessarily all, harmful organisms on environmental surfaces. Again, a chemical process that destroys, but not necessarily all, harmful organisms on environmental surfaces. That is disinfectant. And when they're talking about disinfection, it is a chemical process that destroys most, but not all, harmful organisms, and that harmful pathogenic organisms can enter into the body. Bacteria, capable of destroying bacteria. Versatile, capable of destroying viruses. Fungicidal, capable of destroying fungi. So again, remember, clean is a mechanical process which it removes all dirt and debris.